Hi there, this is Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter, here with another video tutorial for you, and today we are going to do some simple coloring with Copic markers. This is like a basic, easy 101 intro to Copic marker class here. The first thing you should do if you get some Copic markers is to print the hand color chart off their website and color them in with markers you have. That way you won't be looking for markers you don't have when you go to start a project. I always look at my chart when I start to color a new project. And I keep it where I can see it. You probably can't see it on camera, but that's okay because you don't really need to. And I have a digital image that I've printed off my computer. It's from the Cute Easter stamp set from Lindsay Stamp Stuff. And the great thing about these markers with digital stamps is that it never runs your printer ink. I have an inkjet printer. It has never smeared my ink once. We're going to start by coloring the basket here. It's very, very easy to do. We're going to use a dark brown. And I have E37, which is sepia. And I'm going to go in and put in some shading. Now the reason I'm doing this class on the markers is that the Yahoo group, What's Digital Stamping, the Yahoo group I started to help people learn more about digital stamping, I asked if anybody would be interested in classes, and they were, so this is the first one. I'm going to try to get it done in less than 10 minutes so I can put it up on YouTube without any editing. Now I'm going to go right in very quickly and put in all my shadows. The great thing about solvent-based markers, like your Prismacolors or your Bic Markets or your Copics, is that you can go in and blend. I'm using Paper Tray Ink Stamper Select White cardstock, which I like because it's smooth, but it's not super smooth. I can layer on colored pencils on top if I want, and that's very handy if you have a limited supply of markers, because then you can go in with colored pencils and enhance, and it will stick to the paper. This color is E35, called Chamois. It's a little bit darker. I'm going to go in and add a little bit here and there. I'm not too fussy when I color. I don't think you need to do little circles. I tend to be a pretty quick colorer. Now I'm going to go in with E31, which is Brick Beige. It's quite a bit lighter. I'm going to go in and blend that. You can see it blends really well. Now I'm working on my circles. I try not to take hours to color an image because that kind of takes the fun away. Now you could go and color it with your lightest color and then go in with the darker colors. That's another way to do it, and you can always go back in and add more shadow later. And if you have a really stubborn part that doesn't want to blend, use the chisel end of your marker. And then you can usually get those creaks and creases out here. It's interesting how the light markers really push the dark marker ink away. Now while it's still wet, if I want to go in with a little more dark, this is my medium dark, I can go right in, add very easy shadows in there. I want a little texture. I don't want it to be perfectly smooth. This is a basket after all. Now if you're working with a cheaper paper that doesn't bleed very well, it doesn't blend very well rather, you'll just want to do a little section at a time. With good quality paper. Now this is how it looks if you go in with your light colors first. With a good quality paper though, you can go back in and rework it quite a bit. And you can go and blend over it quite a bit without having to worry about it pilling up the paper. Sometimes when I use the Georgia Pacific paper, if I get a little too aggressive with my blending, it will start to pill on the top. And you get those little balls of paper. You'll notice on the Copic markers, there's like a gray stripe on the end of the marker cap that has the brush tip end. I'm coloring sideways here, so there's a good chance I'm going to go outside of the lines or my hand's going to be in the way. Alright, I'm going to go over that with the light again just to blend it, and I'm going to use my chisel edge. There we go. Now on the eggs, we're going to use two colors. We used three here because we had a big area to blend. We wanted it to be nice and deep and blended and have a nice roundness to it. Here for the eggs, we're going to use two colors per egg. So let's do a blue egg. I'm going to use BO2 and BO5. For a small area like this, I'm going to go ahead and color it with the lightest color first. I think my BO2 is starting to get dry. Gonna have to get a refill. Can outline it in the VO5. Now I could just leave it like that, but if I want a little bit more of a blend, I can go right in with the lighter color and work it in. Now just for fun, let's start with the dark first. I think that's going to save a step in this instance. Go in with a dark marker, outline it. I want a little more dark in there because it's behind another egg. And my lighter one. Now if we wanted an extra highlight on there, we could go in with our clear marker and add a little bit of a highlight. It'll take a second to show up. It just pushes the pigment of the ink out to the side and gives you a lighter look. The sun's hitting it. Let's do a purple egg. Just remember to keep 2 different shades per egg and you'll have a nice round looking egg. Keep on capping the wrong ends. Alright, go right around there with that. Go back in and blend it a teeny bit. There. And then we'll do a yellow. I'm using honey and buttercup. Subtle, but it gives you a nice roundness to it. And let's do a green. Let's do 2 greens, because that green's very small, and I like to have some green in my project. Now I am being kind of careful to stay in the lines here, because I don't plan on cutting this one out. But if you make a mistake, you can always erase it with a clear marker, which is really a cool thing about these markers. I'll blend that one a little bit more. I'm bound to make a mistake by the end of this, so I'm sure you'll get to see me erasing it in action. And that, by the way, is my furnace that you hear in the background, because I work in my basement. Now, bows and ribbons are really fun to do. I'm going to use pink, and I'm going to start with my dark pink RV34. And I'm going to color in the dark parts of the bow, which tend to be the inside, and the parts that come right out of the knot, and put a little on the ends too. And I'm not being fussy with the color, I'm just getting it in there so I can blend it in a minute. I'm going with my lighter pink, which I like sugared almond. A lot of the pinks, they look very coral to me, but I like the sugar almond pink because it's very, almost Canada mint colored pink. Just a bit lighter than Pepto-Bismol. That's the kind of pink I like. And you're just filling in, overlapping the colors you already put down. I think I'm probably going to want a little more dark in there. So I'm going to go back in with my darker pink. Alright, my memory card is full there, so let's try this again. I've got about a minute to finish this up, I think, before it fills up again. I'm going in with some more darker pink, super quick. And I'm going to blend it out as quick as can be. I'm going to use a chisel edge, just because it gives me a little bit more push to the color. Really lets me manipulate it well. I didn't like the chisel edges first because it seemed like I couldn't get in anywhere with them. They were gaumy and I just couldn't manage them very well. But now that I'm used to them, I really like that. Now if you want a little shine on your bow, take your clear marker and the chisel edge and just go ahead and draw in some shine. The darker color you have, the more intense it's going to be. In a pastel like this, it's going to be really light. And there, I'm just putting in a little bit of shine. It takes a minute to show up. As it dries, it pushes the ink out and it gives you that nice shine. You can also